This has been a problem on the internet for a very, very long time. And now, finally, some people are talking about it, which is a relief. I'm glad. Here we go. What's a midwit? It's a derogatory insult to a person of about average intelligence who perceives themselves to be above average.
Today, we will
Let me turn this up. That's what the insult means. So most people will average. Yes, that would be correct.
Today, we will be looking at the most obnoxious, unlikable, pretentious phenotype out there, the mid-witted pseudo-intellectual.
Oh.
I mean, they're literally what you would get if
Oh.
you took the actually meme and turned it into a literal person. And to clarify,
Not fat
for
enough.
those who don't know, a midwit is someone who's of average intelligence, and they think of themselves and present themselves as someone of higher intelligence, which is seen in this
About
meme
that.
of the midwit. Then after
Yep.
that, we have this pseudo-intellectual. This person is
Yes.
deceptive. They pretend to be knowledgeable
course.
or intelligent, while they are somebody who lacks genuine depth and understanding of a subject. Now, these
Those
two
are people that bring up logical fallacies. That kind of
distinctly
stuff.
different things, but they have a lot of overlap.
Yeah.
And a lot of the traits we just covered, they're generally seen
Yeah, it's the same person, generally. They're multi-classing.
in the same people. And as somebody who has a lot of experience with these people in general,
Yeah.
I believe I have a very good understanding of them. I know how they operate, why they behave the way that they do,
Anybody who makes content on the internet is fully aware of these people.
and how to spot
I don't know
them.
if I
But
call
here's
them
the thing,
people, but yeah.
Plenty of videos already have gone over this.
Yep.
They've covered this exact same topic. And I would say that they're very valuable. And for the sake of not
iDubbbz?
regurgitating that same information, think of this video as an addendum to the
Oh.
work and not the end-all be-all. Firstly, we have to understand them, know
Yes.
exactly what drives them. And at their core, they are very antisocial people who are extremely insecure. That is where a lot of their obnoxious behavior stems from. Now, let me give you an example here. Let's say that you were talking to one of these midwits, and you said, "The weather outside looks beautiful." Off of that statement alone, they're gonna rush into it and say, "Yes, it is." And that happens because of the high pressure systems over our heads. You see, the clear skies happen when the air sinks instead of rising in the way that the sunlight
So basically, they're AI before AI was created. They're like a chat GPT pot. Okay, got it.
to the atmosphere and makes it look brighter. We haven't even talked
Yeah, it's about right.
beauty, how we can prove what beauty is at the end of the day. Oh my word.
Yeah.
Just shut up. Nobody cares.
Shut up,
Nobody
retard.
gives a shit about whatever you're saying right there. We have all had this happen to
Yes.
us. We've had this person who goes on an extremely long tangent that nobody cares about, just for the sole purpose of
This seems personal about me, but okay.
demonstrating how much they've read on Wikipedia.
Oh,
and
that-
the
that
reason why
usually
they
don't
do
do
this is because when you interact with them, is what is always at the center of their mind is, how can I take
being perceived as a person of above average intelligence and being able to perform that in front of other people to make them think that you're superior to them. That's the reason why they do this.
opportunity to show the people around me how smart and knowledgeable
That's
I
right.
am, which
Yep.
at the end of the day
It's that
is
simple.
rotten to the core
Yep.
because it is only self-serving, and people can sense this. We all sense this coming a mile away, and we hate it, which ties into the key aspect of pseudo-intellectuals, why they're feigning knowledge, wisdom, or intelligence.
They're
They don't
stupid.
learn the things that they do because it's useful to implement it into their own lives. No, they don't care about that.
Nope.
What they care about is using it to impress the people around them.
What a
which
surprise.
Is just fake and shallow at the end of the day. Everybody hates it. And the way we know that it's true is because if you pay attention to a person's actions,
Mm-hmm.
it will tell you what they actually care about, what they value, what their goal is.
Isn't
what
it
their
exhausting to do this your whole life? Well, there's a lot of people that spend their whole life being addicted to stupid things. This is just another version of that. I wouldn't really be that surprised. This is normal.
interaction with you. If you and me, we were talking to each
This
other.
is that for them. That's
stop
normal.
to listen to you. I start to ask questions about
Yes.
you. I hear you out. This is
Okay.
my way of conveying without words that I care about you. I
That's
care
right.
about the things you're saying to me. You deserve my attention. That's what you're showing with your actions.
Sure.
Well, on the other hand, if I just ignored you, I talked over you, I just went on long, irrelevant tangents about the things I know, that is my way of saying to you, you are unimportant to me. What I truly care about is not you, but it's how I appear to you. You
That's
see
right.
what I'm getting at? This
Yeah,
is
it's all self-referential. It's selfish, self-referential logic that they just want to feel important and feel smart.
one
Yeah, it's
simple
egocentric.
example
Yeah, it is.
to explain the lens in which we need to view these things. If you use this lens to view all social interactions between people,
Yep.
you will have a better understanding of people in general. And it's through this lens that we can examine some of the stereotypical behavior of these midwits. One common example is the nitpicking behavior. It could be you make a small typo, you mispronounce something, and they'll hone in on that and use it against you. While in reality, it's not an issue. Everybody knew what you meant. We could
I think that people usually do this because they can't attack your argument. Usually, whenever I see people that attack spelling errors, what that indicates to me is that it's a person who wants to find a way to invalidate the other person, but isn't really able to do that. So they have to resort to looking at their grammar, their spelling. And I mean, to a certain extent, if somebody can't communicate, that they probably are a fucking moron, but not always every single time. If you attack spelling, you're a loser. I mean, to an extent, but I think that if you really can't spell shit at all, like, you're probably a moron too. It get very pedantic. Yeah, it is. And so I think generally that's the reason, that's the impulse behind it.
let it slide, and it wouldn't change anything.
Oof.
But the midwit, the pseudo-intellectual,
Yes.
they will not. These people will never miss an opportunity to pop in and show, actually, this is the correct way you say it.
Yeah.
This is what you actually mean. And at the end of the day, this action, it doesn't aid in the conversation. It doesn't aid in clarifying anything.
But it
to
does aid in their ego, which is the only thing they care about.
anybody. And it is nothing
That's
more
the
to these
reason.
people than an opportunity to showcase how much they know
Obviously.
at your expense. Again, you got to remember what is at the forefront of their mind. Look
How
at
can I
me.
be
Look
seen?
at how much I know.
Yep, as a
Shut
smart
up
person.
and pay attention to me.
Yep.
Look and see how smart I am. And what is so ironic at the end of the day is they characteristically don't even understand what they're talking about. It's all surface level. I tell you, one
it's like
time
AI.
I was talking to a guy and he asked me what I do. And I told him I do freelance video editing because
That's
that
nice.
is what I was focusing on at the time. And instantly he jumped in and said, "Oh, you should go to Fiverr. I heard there are people who make a lot of money on there. You should try
A lot of money. It's $5. It's in the name.
it out. You should do the smart thing and let the business come to you rather than seek it out yourself." And I politely told him, that's not how it works. You can't just simply make a Fiverr account and expect it to work from there.
Yeah.
I've looked into this as a freelancer. It's a lot harder than you make it out to be. It's not that simple. But he didn't listen. He said, no. Trust me, I've seen it. You can just make an account on there and you'll blow.
Bro, this is like somebody trying to sell an MLM scam or something like that. Like, people that constantly try to insist that they know how to do your job better than you do, how fucking obnoxious. Oh my God.
Up, trust me. I mean, just try
Trust-
it out.
bro,
Can't hurt, right?
trust me,
And we
I
went
know.
back
I know
and
how this
forth,
works.
And we were talking about this until
Yeah.
I finally asked him and said, "Wait, have you ever done any video editing yourself or any commissions?"
No.
And he said, "No,
No,
I haven't."
of course.
And then I asked him again, "Have you done any work on Fiverr?"
He says no.
And then he said, "Nah, man, but I've heard people do really well on it." And
Well, see, I read on the internet it said it was good. So your personal... No. If I read it on the internet, it's real.
And I instantly realized right at that moment,
You know, some
I wasted
stats
my
came-
whole
yeah.
time talking to this fucking idiot who doesn't know anything he's talking about, who's telling me what I should do. And what's worse is if you stop to think about it, you realize
Yeah.
these people don't care about you at all. Again, all of this is performative. The only thing he really cared about and wanted to hear was for me to say,
You're
yes,
smart.
I
Yes,
will do this
I'm gonna
thing
help
that you
you.
suggested. So
Yeah.
he can feel good about himself. That's all he wanted. That's all
monkey.
he cared about. This whole conversation at the end of the day was simply self-serving to him, to give him an ego boost. But let me tell you about another story, another interaction I had. I one time met this girl and asked her, what are you going
that's
to
a problem.
college for? And she said photography. And then
Okay.
she told me what her whole plan was, to get hired by a big company and to do their marketing for them.
Wow,
and for
that's a
everybody
lot.
who's into photography, I know you've heard this a billion times before. People tell you should become a freelance wedding photographer. You should start your own business.
Sure.
You'll make so much money. Just take pictures of people at their weddings. That's what you should do.
Yeah, it makes
but instead
sense.
of saying any of that, I stopped and said, I'm curious. Why are you interested in working for a corporation instead of doing freelance work like everybody says?
Yeah,
and
sure.
after that, she instantly lit up. She told me why. She went over the pros and cons of it. She talked about the negatives of doing freelance work rather than having a stable job at a company.
Well, and you can see what the difference there is, right? Is like you're not imposing what you're saying on somebody else. You're not telling them what to do. You're not trying to like talk down to them or patronize them or something like that. You should rather than I should. Yeah, like I just ask you. And also, like, by the way, this is something that's in general true. Whenever you're having a conversation with somebody and you ask the person questions about what they're telling you about, they're going to like that because it means that you're paying attention to what they're saying. So that's a little life hack, little tip, okay? I'm not the best looking guy out there. So if I'm talking to a girl, I need all the help that I can get. And let me tell you something, guys. Asking them about their interests, then asking follow-up questions about those interests, it's like a life hack. It's like a cheat code.
And things like that. She went into
Works
great
really
detail
well.
about this thing.
You'd be
Because
shocked.
guess what? It's not my place to give her advice in her own field that I know nothing about.
Yeah.
The only position I am in as someone who doesn't do photography while she's pursuing it,
Exactly.
thinking about it for hours every day, is to ask her questions. I'm not in the position to give her advice, especially unrequested advice, because most
Game looks
people
kinda
out
cool.
there, they don't do these things because they believe it's the best.
Yeah.
They want to help you. They do it to paint themselves as an intellectual. One of the reasons why I believe these
They're
midwits
stupid.
and these pseudo-intellectuals do this, these Redditors, they like to convince themselves that they're smart, they're educated.
yes.
And it's all a cope to them because they
Absolutely.
have low self-esteem. It's like, hey,
And they're
maybe I
fat.
look like shit. Maybe I smell like shit.
Also
I'm
fat.
unlikable. I'm ugly. But I can at least go on long monologues
Yes.
that nobody pays attention to. People compliment me and tell me how smart I am, right? That's why so many people in general value their intelligence. They take
Yes.
pride in their intelligence. They base their self-esteem upon it, which is unhealthy. I don't think you should do that. Because if you are actually intelligent, that is
In
not
my
even
opinion, I think that if you base your self-esteem off of any sort of voluntary reaction from other people, you're only going to make yourself unhappy. So if you base your self-esteem around people liking you, if you base your self-esteem around people perceiving you as anything, what you're going to end up doing is eventually running into a wall with that and making yourself unhappy. That's my opinion. That's my advice. You've got to have your own self-image that is defined by you, it's reinforced by you, and it may be enhanced by other people, but it can stand on its own.
earned virtue. You did nothing to earn it. You were
Yeah.
simply born with it. People who fixate on their own intelligence, they usually have nothing going on in their lives that they can rest their self-esteem on.
Well, this is
That-
another thing, too, is that a lot of these pretend smart people on Reddit, there's a reason why they're on Reddit. It's because they're not smart. Like, and you can see this at any topic that, like, you know a lot about. Go on to Reddit and read about people talking about it. And these are a bunch of retards that have no idea what they're saying. Yeah, the actually thing. Yeah, exactly. You have a job. Exactly. Yeah. A lot of these people are just morons.
alone is
That's the
their
reason.
one pillar they rely on. And if you threaten that, if you
Yes.
shake it by being smarter than them or undermining
This
their
is the same reason why a lot of Redditors insist that every streamer is stupid. It's because it creates, and you have to understand that the perception around this and insulting and calling other people dumb, the reason why they do it is actually in order to protect their own ego. They care about being perceived or seen as somebody who's intelligent, and because they care about that so much, they don't like, or seen as other people, like, let's say, like, they don't want to be seen as somebody who is in one way or another a loser. So if you go on LSF or you go on one of these other like subreddits, you're going going to have all these people that are talking down about like content creators, or talking down about like a musician, or talking down about anybody who's successful. Why is it that they have a bucket and a crabs in a bucket mentality for anybody who's successful? Well, the reason why is because the moment that somebody is successful that they perceive to be less intelligent than them, what happens to them is now they feel like, wait a minute, if they're dumber than I am and they're successful, well, why the fuck am I not successful? That's reaching? I don't think so. I think that almost all people and the way that they act is in some way or another related to them. It's a reality check. It is. That's the reason why they do it. It's coping.
Intelligence, they will hate you because that's the one thing they have in life. Never undermine it or shake it. Never point out how they are wrong because they will hate you. And what we can learn from this is, one, we should not rest our self-esteem
100%.
on intelligence. Secondly, we need multiple pillars of self-esteem. If you base it off of intelligence, there are going to be people out there by virtue of existing that will make you feel inferior,
smarter people,
and hateful.
sure.
Whereas, let's say you're a retard. You can be a happy, lovable retard. You can say to yourself, well, I might be retarded, but I'm at least moderately attractive, or I take care of my looks.
Yeah.
I'm likable. People enjoy me. I make the people around me laugh. I'm charismatic.
Sure.
I have other positive qualities about myself.
There's a lot of people like that.
When he meets somebody who's smarter than him, he's not going to be insecure whatsoever. He's not going to be combative with them. He's not going to be...
that's the way that retards are smarter than the midwits. Exactly. Because they don't need to be.
Secure around them, he's gonna love them, and that is what you need to do. Be like the retard instead of the retard. Or
that's
the pseudo-intellectual who do everything in their power to feel good about themselves, feel very intelligent, and get that ego boost. Don't do that. And one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a truth nuke. I usually don't call it a truth nuke, but I'm very confident with this, and everybody needs to hear this.
Okay.
One, people do not care at all how you appear to them. Nobody cares about how you talk about yourself or how you frame yourself to be in front of them. Or
absolutely. Fucking absolutely. Yes, nobody gives a fuck. Very true.
Things that are solely designed to impress other people. Nobody's paying attention when you go on these long monologues. People block it out. They start to daydream. Nobody cares about you.
I've had people like this so there's been like meetings that I've been in, and there's always been people that are like this. And I know that like whenever they start going, I will watch like the call, and the amount of people will be like, just go away. People just start leaving.
That's the truth. Nobody
cares.
No,
please.
But what they do care
please,
about
no, not
are two
again.
Things. How you make them feel.
Yeah,
and also what value you supply to them.
Yes,
people care about and love people who make themselves feel good. What is actually valuable is the skill of making other people feel smart.
That's right.
Loved, valued, happy. People will love you.
And also to help them. Like if you're smart and you know how to solve somebody's problem and you can solve the problem, they're going to like that. They're going to like that a lot. So, and that's really the issue, is that if you really know what the hell you're talking about with something, you can help somebody and be like, yeah, I actually know a lot about this. I can help you. Do you want me to help you? And they say, yeah. It's like, all right, this is what you got to do. And a lot of people have like one or two things that they do know a lot about. Now, maybe the one thing you know a lot about is Pokemon, so you don't have a lot of options. But every once in a while, somebody might not know how to make a team for the Elite Four. That's where you come in. That's when you're fucking ready, okay? And you don't need to be that guy for everything, man. And so that's it. Gotta catch them all. Exactly, yeah. You don't need to be that guy for everything. You don't have to know everything.
That is what is extremely important. And also, being a valuable asset in general.
Yes.
If you supply value to people, you give to them in whatever way you can. People will love you and value for that. And oddly enough, if you're supplying value to people, they oftentimes view you as intelligent. If you want to be seen as intelligent, just be competent. Just be a person who...
That's exactly it. Yeah. Everybody wants to be around somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing. even if it's a low skill job, like even if you're working at Burger King, the guy that can work at Burger King and then do 3 jobs at the same time, people are going to be like, damn, that's impressive. Rather than the guy that knows about, you know, some random fucking arcane history of the Roman Empire. People aren't really going to care about that. I mean, the only people that are going to care about that are other people like him. That's it.
Focuses on and pays attention to other people, what they need, how they feel, and supply also value to them with your actions. That is what you should focus on. Then maybe people will view you as smart. But again, who cares? You shouldn't even be focusing on that anymore. You got to focus on other people rather than being self-absorbed.
Provide a value to them.
This video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to subscribe and check out some of my other videos. And as always, I hope you have a good one.
That was a great video. I thought that was great. And I'm going to link you guys the video right here. Remnant 777. Good one. And yeah, there you go. Bro, I had that issue about yesterday. I went to a museum. Guy just kept talking in front of everyone as if he knew everything. Yeah, it's just kind of annoying. And I don't know why people do that, but that's what happens, right? I mean, you've got a lot of people. There's the video. Make sure to give it a like. And I think also a lot of Redditors and people like this, whenever I see people that are expressing them this way, it's not for you, it's for them. It's so they will feel good, so they will feel smart, and they will feel superior, right? Like, that's always the goal that they have, rather than anything else besides that. It's always about their own ego and building it up in that own way.